What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It is a beautiful fall day here in Findlay, Ohio, and I'm hanging out in the beer shed getting ready to check out a new beer. The one I have today is called Juicy Vibacious, and this is from Great Lakes Brewing out of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, this one comes in at 9.5% ABV, 40 IBUs, and this is a, try to see how many ounces this can is, one pint, 3.2 fluid ounces, so pint is 16, it makes it 19.2 fluid ounces. Now, I got this over at the Circle K. Usually what I do is I try to go to gas stations to try to find some nice WTF Wednesday beers, because a lot of times they have some weirder stuff, like malt liquors, or maybe some just high ABV kind of trashy beers. And, you know, I saw this there and a number of other kind of around 10% double IPAs, and it got me thinking, are these cheap double IPAs the new malt liquor? You know, if you go to most kind of gas stations, wherever you live, if they sell beer, usually have six packs, maybe they have a little beer cave. But usually they have a bunch of kind of bigger cans like these. Sometimes the ounces varies. But they tend to be kind of cheaper beers and cheap beers with high ABVs. And obviously the idea is if maybe you're not doing so great financially or you want to save a few dollars, but still want to get on and have a few beers, you buy 2 or 3 of these at the high ABV, cheaper price, and, you know, have a good afternoon. I think I paid about $3 for this, but it did make me start wondering, is that what these guys are going for now? Or are breweries trying to make kind of just huge IPAs, double IPAs, in hopes that people that used to drink malt liquor and cheap crap would buy it? Because that's what it looks like to me, so I don't know. Again, 9.5% ABV, 40 IBUs, and this is from Great Lakes Brewing out of Cleveland. Obviously a very good brewery. And also it's kind of interesting. Let me find a little blurb about this. I saw it on, I think it was Untappd. See if I can get it to pop up. So this is Great Lake Brewing's first Vibacious line extension. It's a 9.5 ABV and features a blend of real citrus and natural fruit flavors, giving Juicy Vibacious an even brighter and juicier flavor profile. Good vibes and delicious intertwine in every sip of this bold, smooth drinking, extra juicy double IPA. Good vibes and delicious. Shouldn't it be deliciousness? I don't even know if that's proper English, man. I don't know. I like Great Lakes, but I'm a little apprehensive about this because I saw them turning out a bunch of stuff like this, and I don't know, you know, what they're doing. Guess we'll see. Maybe it's really good, and I'm getting worked up over nothing. Does well on the socials, so Untappd 3.91 with over 3,000 check-ins, so decent sample size. Beer Advocate had an 88 very good overall with 392 as the score. How many people checked into it? So we had 392, and it looks like that's with 17 ratings, so not a super high sample size, but still looks pretty good. 391, 392, pretty consistent between the two apps. All right, let's go in for the smell first. Let's check the nose. Man, hoppy, fruity, grapefruity, kind of like that bitter citrus kind of smell is what I pick up. Like I'd associate with maybe a grapefruit or something like that. Now, depending how you feel about grapefruit, that might be inviting or not so inviting. I'm not a huge grapefruit fan. I like most citrus fruits, but I'm not a huge fan of grapefruit. A little too bitter for me. So let's look at this thing. Pretty clear. I can see through it. Tons of carbonation, but they're just little bubbles there. Champagne bubbles almost. Color. I break this out. Maybe like, let me drop it behind me. Usually I see it with the light there. I don't know, maybe like a 5. Got pale gold kind of color, 4 or 5. It's relatively light. Just kind of looks yellow, to be honest. And again, clear, you can see straight through it. Ton of little bubbles. Head, decent. Probably got 1.5, 2 fingers worth of white frothy head. Doesn't look like it's got any head retention there. Like it seems like you don't really get the lacing. It's just kind of, oh shit, kind of just disappearing. But I don't know, looks all right. I got my towel back here. I'll hook it up in a minute. Now I'm going with my J Beerventures glass from our 2022 Beer Tuber Get Together Special Edition glass. So shout out Rod J. Thanks for the glass, my friend. And if you don't follow Rod J, check him out. I'll throw his logo up there and a link down in the description. All right, it's time to give this thing a taste. Let's see what it's like. 10%, big kind of citrusy bitterness. Ooh, we'll see. It sounds like Heartburn Central. Body, that is medium. Solid medium. I thought maybe this would be a bit syrupy, and it's not. The flavors aren't as bad as I thought, and by bad I meant strong as overpowering. Not that they're bad per se, but usually, again, I'm not a big hophead, so usually when I see a beer like this, 10%, I start to think this is just going to be heartburn in a can, but it's really not. It's got a pretty decent taste to it. I think up front, you definitely get some sweetness. I don't know if it's like maybe like a peach or tangerine or something like that, like a citrusy sweetness. Then it kind of goes to almost like a citrusy pith kind of taste. So the bitterness in this, I don't associate with like a big hoppy bitterness or you know, some dank thing like that. It's more citrus pith. So, you know, obviously when you have an orange or something like that, you got the rind and then that bit underneath. I guess that weird inner membrane or skin is kind of like that pithy taste that a lot of times gives you a bit of bitterness and still has some of the citrusy taste to it as well. And I think that's what I'm picking up here. Trying to see what else we got here. IBUs 40, not overly hoppy, so much so that you wouldn't like it. For 9.5, I think it hides it pretty well too, which is kind of scary. Yeah, I mean, you get a tiny bit of, maybe, it's kind of weird. Like, usually when you get the alcohol burn, you notice it when you drink it, like you feel the burn going down. This one I'm not really getting until almost like it hits my stomach, which sounds a bit weird, but you don't taste it initially. But then as it kind of sits and it goes down, you realize, all right, this isn't your regular 5% beer or so. But for almost 10%, I think it hides it fairly well. Now, also, maybe the bitterness from like the fruity pith taste kind of masks it a little, so you're picking up that slight bitterness and you're not really focusing on more of the booziness. Not that it has much of it, but you know, it masks it well, and I don't think you'd know this is 10%, which means this could be a very dangerous beer. What else am I getting? Not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, like I said, I think you get up front the fruity citrus kind of taste, and then it goes to that fruit pith bitterness, citrusy pith bitterness, and kind of that's it. There's some sweetness to it. Maybe, like I said, I think you get like kind of like tangerine, peachy kind of thing, or something nectarine, something like that, like more along the orangey kind of line. Then you get a little bit of the bitterness. You might also get a tiny bit of like a berry sweetness as well, but it tastes pretty good. I'm surprised. I thought I was going to hate this. Just because when I saw $3, 10% in a can like this, my brain goes to this is a crackhead beer. You know what I mean? That you drink out of a brown paper bag when you live behind the trash can outside of the KFC or something. But it seems to be pretty good. Now, again, Great Lakes is a decent brewery, so maybe that's par for the course. But I think they did a pretty good job with this. I do like this. Didn't expect to. So big thumbs up for Juicy Vibacious. Pretty solid beer. Again, I do worry a little bit about those high ABV cheap beers. Are they becoming the new malt liquor? Yeah, I think they are. Reason why? Because they probably taste better. You still get the bang for your buck in that you're getting a higher ABV beer, so you get mangled on 2 or 3 cans. Now, these are a little bit more expensive, obviously, than maybe, if you want it like a natty ice or something like that, but not by much. So I think these provide a somewhat affordable alternative to some of those crappier high ABV beers people drink when maybe, look, I've done it. I've had times when maybe I don't have a lot of money and you got to go for Ice House or you go for something else, or you start drinking the Mickeys again, which I quite like. But I think this fits in that same kind of category, but is better. This is like a more crafty beer, obviously, by Great Lakes as opposed to one of the macro breweries. And I think that it kind of delivers in a decent taste. If you want to taste some different flavors and not just, that adjuncty, we're going to get mangled alcohol burn, perfect beer. So big thumbs up. Again, thought I wasn't going to like it, but, I really do. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, you got any comments or questions, jump in down below. It looks like about 3,500 people have had this. So there's a good chance you might, especially if you've lived in Ohio. So if you've had this Juicy Vibacious, Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And also, one thing I want to know, are your gas stations getting taken over where what used to be a bunch of single cans of kind of Bud Miller Coors and ice beers and cheap malt liquors are now being replaced by these big double IPAs? Last time I was at the same Circle K, they had a big range of ones from those Golden Monkey ones from Victory right outside of Philly. I think they're in Downingtown. But they were, again, high ABV, kind of double IPAs in that kind of range. I think they had some Belgian ones in that range as well, like Belgian quad style things. But is that the new trend? Kind of high ABV macroist beers replacing what we used to have as the cheaper high ABV beers. Let me know what you're seeing on the shelves near you in the comments down below. And until next time, cheers! Go Eagles. EAGLES. Fly Eagles fly.